All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you once again to another episode of the Gafford and Brown Show. I'm Lamar Gafford,
And I'm Robert Brown.
and once again, hey, guess what? We're here in the we're live at the Gafford household, man.
Same place, same time. Just we're in the same place actually. Like usually this is done me via phone, but I'm right here next to Lamar, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have fun in the Gafford household. It's like Dan Levitor's show, except the decor is much nicer.
Oh, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. My mom tries to do a very good job at doing this and everything. So today's show, we're basically going to talk about the NBA and maybe a little bit about all the news that's going on in the sports world. But did you get a chance to see the NBA action last night?
Man, I didn't get to see the night games. I saw mostly the day games. And we got to talk about that Miami Heat Knicks game, man. The Knicks, with the ultimate collapse, man, this is a team that a lot of people, pegged as being the Heat beaters, and this year they're real. But, I mean, granted, they have beaten Miami this year, but that loss was so deflating because they had Miami right where they wanted them. I mean, you had Carmelo Anthony, who had an amazing first half, with 20-plus points, had a great game. Jason Kidd was scorching behind the arc. Just a great game overall, but with the Knicks in the first half, and then the second half collapsed. It was really it was hard to watch, man. 'Cause you see this Miami team, and they just flipped the switch and took over the game. And there was a moment in the game where LeBron tweaked his knee. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen as far as LeBron game. We're not used to seeing LeBron James injured and seeing him go down like that. He was down for a while. And he got back up and then hit a mid-range jumper. So, he wasn't necessarily hurt per se. He might take a game off or two, since we're about to wrap the season up. But overall, man, it's hard to take the Knicks seriously sometimes because, one, they depend so much on three-point shooting. Those threes aren't falling. I mean, you have a team that's vulnerable. Then Melo, he can have his moments where there's a lot more dribbling instead of passing, and the offense gets stagnant, and then, he's taking crazy jumpers. And J.R. Smith is the king of crazy jumpers. I mean, so, it was just hard to watch. Did you get to see that game?
I did not, but taking a look at some of the stuff that's happened, we see the Heat that they've won now their 14th straight games, a franchise record. And the Heat basically, they needed this win because they needed to show that they are the top team in the East, and clearly they are. But looking at a bit of the game last night was kind of the tweets that J.R. Smith had said afterwards from the fans that said some stuff up to him. I think he had, I retweeted a couple of them actually here, where he was basically going over with some tete-a-tete with some of those, some of the fans and stuff like this right here. I'm showing the game right here.
Wow.
Pretty much some of the tweets I can't really talk about, but.
Yeah, J.R. Smith is he's a character. He's always been a character. I mean, this is a man that can't drive because he had his driving license banned because that incident. When he was with the Denver Nuggets. But he's a character, and he's always going to be a character. That's just part of the package with him. But this is a Knicks team that's very hard to understand because they look so good early in the season. They still continue to be one of the East elite, but I mean, to give up that type of lead against a Miami team once you have them on the ropes, that's unacceptable. And this is a team that might meet Miami in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And, the past, last season that 4-1 series they had with Miami. You should get tired of being, little brother,
Right, exactly. And you really should because you have to showcase that you can beat this team. And right now, they're pretty much neck and neck between Indiana for possibly being the number 2 team in the East. But also, they gotta at least try to show some consistency here. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. The Knicks, they're a good team. They're fun to watch, but they rely so much on the three-point shot. Charles Barkley said it best: "You live by the three, you die by the three."
Right.
And if those shots aren't falling, the Knicks look helpless.
Exactly. And you got taking a look at the stats right here. J.R. Smith shot 14 threes, attempted 14 threes in the game.
He's the king of the bad shot.
You can't do that. He's not that good of a three. He can make 3-point shooters, of course, but taking 14 threes.
14 shots. You know, he still hasn't had that moment where it clicked. Like, I remember when we used to criticize LeBron James, Josh Smith, and Rudy Gay for being in love with the three-point shot when they weren't statistically good three-point shooters.
Right.
And we've seen all of them mature. LeBron now, he would rather shoot the mid-range jumper or attack the rim. Rudy Gay, he's adopted a nice mid-range jumper. He attacks the rim. Josh Smith, I haven't seen Josh Smith attempt a three in weeks.
Wow.
You know, he's a player that attacks the rim now. It's like J.R. Smith. He can shoot the three, but he doesn't hit it consistently. It's just like Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is a player that back when he was with the Suns,
right,
and earlier with the New Jersey Knicks, he wasn't known for three-point shooting.
Right.
But throughout his career, as his career progressed, he's actually become one of the best three-point shooters in the league. You know, so it's one of those things that players need to learn. I mean, it's a three-point shot is sexy. It's one of the sexiest things of the NBA.
Right.
You know, Chiefs did the long shot. But if it doesn't fall, you need to do something else. Pass the ball, attack the paint, you know, get to the line, things like that.
Exactly. And that's just one of the things right here. And actually, I just got a message from Clarence Sellers here. He was on the show. He basically said about J.R. Smith that he is the spree world of the 2010s.
Yeah, minus the braids and the choking. That's pretty accurate.
But yeah, that is a very accurate call and the quote on that one here. But if you're the Knicks, after that hot start, I think they've broken even though since then. I think it was like, I don't know, like over the last 32 games, they're like 16-16, probably 16-17, something like that. They need to do something to get right back on track. And, you know, they need to just continue. They need to just do what they did before. Some people might be even, you know, because you had said once before about the Knicks that you had scoffed the beat for picking them as a four seed. And once again, we're coming right back to the same thing. You have only one balls, kind of between Carmelo and Amare, and then some people taking dumb shots and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what the Knicks are. It's Amare Stoudemire, Carmelo, and a bunch of people that take stupid shots. Well, I mean, granted, some of the spots are nice. You know, I mean, Steve Novak is a guy. He's going to knock down a three. He didn't have much success yesterday, but 9 times out of 10, you give him an open look, he's going to knock it down.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Kidd, he's a pretty smart guy picking his spots. You have J.R. Smith, who's sporadic. Shumpert, he's a bit hit and miss. But outside of Melo, they don't have a consistent scorer. You know, Melo's going to give you 20 or 30.
Right.
You can guarantee that almost. But they don't, other than outside of that, they don't have a consistent score, you know, to carry that load. So we're going to see. But let's talk about that Thunder Clippers game.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I got a chance to see a little bit of the highlights of that game. OKC won 108-104 and actually pretty much got this number 2 seed on this one. Can we see these two teams beat each other in the playoffs? And how good do you think it's going to be?
Possibly. But the Thunder have swept the Clippers in the season series. And the Clippers, when they play Oklahoma City, they play them hard, but at the same time, I can't take the Clippers seriously yet because they still haven't found a half-court offense. It's like when their back's against the wall, they're great at running the court.
Right.
They're very deep, and it's just when you stop them from running and get them in a half-court offense, it's like, okay, Chris Paul, dribble, look for a lob to Blake or three-point shot. So that's all they got. And that's not going to work in the playoffs, especially if they play a team like the Spurs, you know, or Memphis, you know, who's going to slow the game down. And I just think right now I have the Thunder as my favorites to get out the West because they're a very high-octane team. Kevin Durant, he's got this not nice campaign with Nike, but this season he's really been playing pissed off. I mean, this is a guy who has 12 technicals.
Yes.
You know, that's crazy. Kevin Durant has 12 technicals. You know, this is a guy who speaks at a whisper and has 12 technical fouls.
Like, really? I mean, I got a chance to see one of his ejections earlier in the season and, you know, showing that he actually cussed out at a ref. I was like, dang, Kate.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, Russell Westbrook is always going to be the guy with his chest poked out. Because that's just his demeanor. You know? I mean, this is a man that wears capri pants. So if he wears capri pants, he's pretty confident not only in his game, but, you know, just a confident guy overall.
Right.
So, you know, this is a Thunder team I like to watch. I like their energy. You see mean streaks in guys like Ibaka. The cheap shot he took at Blake, yeah, it was cheap, but it sent a statement to Blake, like, stop flopping. Ha! That's the type of things you want to see from this team. So, and at the same time, Clipper talking about people taking cheap shots. I've seen Chris Paul take lots of shots to guys' balls. I mean, that's like his signature move, other than
Julius
the crossover.
Hodge.
Yeah,
Julius Hodge.
Yeah, exactly. So Chris Paul is the king of karate chops to the mid region. I mean,
Well, as I've always said about Chris Paul, it's just kind of like with him, he kind of has like this Napoleon complex. Like, you're small guy, but I want to show everybody that I'm tough, and he is tough.
Yeah.
But like we seen last year with Pau Gasol touching his hair, like he basically like, man, don't touch my hair right now, man. You're on the other side. We could be friends outside when the game's over with, but don't touch my hair right now.
Right, and that's just there's always been his demeanor. Chris Paul's a guy with an edge to him, and that's what you like about him. This is a guy that refuses to lose. He hates losing. He doesn't want to be insulted. He thinks he's the best point guard in the league. That's the type of guy you want. That's why I love him and Rondo, because they're two guys that don't take any slack, and they both think they're the best at their position.
Now looking at the playoff standings right now, we see the Clippers that they are number 3, and they basically fall 1.5 behind Oklahoma City because of that loss. But is there an opportunity? Do you think that they might actually get a chance to lose in the first round? Say if they play against like a team against Golden State, Houston, or even Utah. Or something like that?
I think the best team that has a chance of putting the Clippers out, if they were to meet first round, I would say Golden State, Denver, or Memphis. But with Golden State's recent struggles, I don't know, because to me the Clippers' biggest problem is Vinny Del Negro. He's not a great coach. I mean, the only reason I think he's still there because he has a low price tag.
Yes.
They have their rotate. They have one of the deepest teams in the league, and the rotation he has seems all over the place. There's some games where Bledsoe might play a large portion of the game, and some games he might get maybe 10 minutes,
Right.
So it's crazy, but I think that they definitely want to hold on to that, maybe try to get to the 2 spot or 3, because I don't think you want to see Golden State in the first round, not because of the Oracle, the crowd noise, Steph Curry's big game ability.
A little bit of a rivalry with the same state.
I don't think they want to see Golden State first round, so they're probably hoping Utah can maybe get the 6th seed, or maybe I just think they don't want to see Golden State first round, because I think it might go 7 if that would have happened.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that one, because both of these two teams, they really matched pretty well. And looking at Golden State this season, they really matched up with the Clippers, and I think they beat them a couple of times this season.
I think they've beaten them twice.
There's something right there along with that. What the Clippers really have to do, and I've said this before, is just that their play, like you said, that it's not tailored to the playoff basketball. They don't have too much of a half-court game. They don't. Their free throw shooting is pretty much spotty at best, because if you foul Blake and if you foul DeAndre Jordan on the line, you pretty much got some horrific free throw shooting.
Yeah.
And they're athletic enough, not to keep them on the bench, but you got to have them out there. But if they're out there, they're not too good enough when shooting free throws.
And that's why they tried to make the move for Kevin Garnett, because DeAndre Jordan, he's a guy that's improved. And early in the year, we were talking about how improved he looked. But as you watched the game yesterday and watched a couple of the games, in the second half of the season, he looks as if he's taking a step back. He's not really attacking the boards. He's settling for lobs and dunks instead of working in the post, finding a shot, and that's not going to get it come playoff time. So we'll see. And we have another comment from Clarence talking about Houston. Houston is a scary team.
Oh yes, they are.
Because this is a team. A lot of people call it offense a gimmick, but I mean, it's just like the 7 seconds or less offense from the Suns era. This is a team that will shoot lights out. I mean, look at what they did last night against the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, Parsons had 32 points. It's crazy. Lynn doesn't even have to score that much. Lynn has had average games all season.
Right.
They average like 100+ points. he's a facilitator now, and James Harden handles. I mean, the king of the Mr. Euro stuff himself is just annihilating teams. They're a very scary team, and I would not want to see them first round.
I would not either, because looking at this team so earlier in the season, this is a team that shot 23 threes, made 23 threes against Golden State. And with their shooting capability, their high-powered offense, they're going to be a nightmare for at least one of these teams that they're going to have to play against no matter what. And like we said, if it's going to be the Clippers, I really think the Rockets could beat the Clippers and really could go into the second round. But if it's probably like San Antonio, maybe OKC, I can't see them getting past, but they will give them a very good series.
Yeah, I can see them stealing a game or two from Oklahoma City or the Spurs, just because if they're hot, they can definitely compete, but. They're another team that relies too much on three-point shooting. And, if those shots don't fall, it's going to be a problem.
Right. Because, looking at it right now, they score 107 points a game this season. And I think that's the best in the NBA. Conversely, they give up 103.7 points in the league, and that's second worst.
Yeah.
So, their offense has to be on. Because if their offense is on, they can shoot you out of the gym.
Right.
If not, the defense,
Yeah, and you don't want to play the Spurs with that type of offense because they can run now, and OKC they're going to run with you as well.
Right.
So it's very tricky. They're going to have to get a perfect matchup if they want to get that upset in the first round.
Right, exactly. And as I've said, too, before, also shout out to the Houston Rockets. Shout out to a couple of people that have been, one person that has been on the show here in Joe Shee. He's a big Rockets fan. And my friend Zane, she's a big Rockets fan. They both hate the Mavericks. And this is actually the first time that me and my friend Zane keeps on talking, since we talk to each other, that we have lost to the Rockets. And she was basically about trolling pretty much about the whole thing. So, like I say, a shout out to y'all. Y'all got yourselves a very good team, and I hope that you guys, make it to the playoffs or at least get a good showing into the playoffs. Because actually, I think they can do pretty well in free agency too. Because who knows what might they do.
This is a team that tried their hardest to get Dwight Howard in the offseason. They pretty much acquired draft picks, like crazy, like candy, because this is a team that got Jeremy Lamb, Royce White, and I forgot the third player. But they had 3 first-rounders, and, they used those picks, to their leverage, even getting Jeff Harden with one of those players. And, they're a very smart executive team, and we're going to see them make a move in the off season. Who knows? Maybe Dwight Howard will go to Houston. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is an organization that they're very focused on winning.
Exactly, and like we've mentioned it once before. You said it before about Daryl Morey. And Hearing has also said it before about Daryl Morey too, that he's basically a frontward-thinking guy. You see the guy; he really relies on metric stats a little bit too. He's one of those guys that actually embraces that, and that's kind of like one of the ways that the NBA is going in now too.
Oh yeah, the money ball type of thing. Yeah, look at the Denver Nuggets. That's how they built their team after the Melo debacle. They got great players that that will listen to George Karl, accept their roles. Watching them the other night against the Thunder, that Friday night game. The way they've drafted and made moves, it's amazing. The move for JaVale McGee, a lot of people criticize, but look at it now. The guy's learning the game. He's actually involved into one of the better big men in the league.
Right.
And Ty Lawson, he's clear. To me, he's a top 10 point guard. The guy's probably gonna be an all-star next year. The move for Iguodala, you got a veteran who can score. a former All-Star, Fareed in the middle, a great draft pick. It's just those type of moves that teams are making now.
Right.
Small market teams to compete with large Indiana. I mean, this is a team that doesn't have a true superstar. I mean, yeah, you can make the argument for Paul George, but he's fairly young. But these teams are taking the statistic approach to building. I want to say the Spurs blueprint. Even the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they built this team through draft moves, or a couple key trades, but overall through the draft and hard work and research.
I got a good feeling that by the, with the way that the new CBA is pretty much constructed right now, teams are really starting to make those small moves. They might not be too hesitant enough to make those big market moves, those big time moves and all that stuff. Of course, you're going to have the big markets. They're going to spend. Yeah. I mean, the Lakers are going to spend. The Knicks are going to spend.
Right. Even Brooklyn now.
Brooklyn's going to try. Brooklyn has showed no hesitation to spend.
They took Joe Johnson's contract, so they don't care about money at all.
Exactly. But you got the smaller teams and stuff. They're going to have to actually, make the micromanagement moves. Like, okay, well, I know I can't get maybe a Dwight Howard or a Josh Smith to come here, but let me try to make some small moves that maybe I might can get them, but then again, I might can also try to get some other good pieces and stuff that can, try to, get my team doing pretty well.
Yeah, because look at the Hornets. I mean, granted, their record, is kind of horrible, but this is a team that's fairly young. They rebuilt from the ground up after the Chris Paul trade, and they're primed to have future success with players like Austin Rivers. They're a great team to watch because they're young and they're going to be good. In the short term future.
Exactly. Now another thing and thank goodness that you also mentioned the Indiana too, because looking at them right now, they're number 2 in the NBA. And they're also they won 97-92 against the Bulls in a Central Division showdown. But a welcome sight in this game was actually got a chance to see Derrick Rose do a little bit more, and he actually sat courtside in this game. But whenever he comes back, do you think it's going to be too late for the Bulls to challenge the Pacers in the Central, or what do you think?
I think it's too late. I think right now the Pacers are positioned to win that division. I just think it's a little too late. I honestly think Derrick Rose shouldn't play this season. I think he should wait till next year. I mean, the seasons we're at the almost the tail end of the season,
right?
And granted, you want to get him back to see what he looks like, or try to get that push towards the finals. But we saw what happened last year,
right?
So I say save the guy, because you got put out first round, last year against the 76ers, and you lost your franchise player. So, just keep your losses to a minimum, save them for next year, and see what happens because they're playing good basketball,
right?
But I think the Pacers right now have the edge on. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's a plus, but just
yeah, because looking at it, and I think you might can attest to this a little bit more. ACL injuries are pretty much nothing to sneeze at, nothing to play around with.
No.
And we've seen it happen once before with Amare Stoudemire when he had that microfracture surgery, and his big issue was coming back too early. And when he tried to come back too early, he was pretty much still lost for the season. Other than resting for the playoffs and all, he came back too early and stuff. So they really have to play with this one with kids' gloves on this one too. And I say why rush him back? If Derrick Rose, he says he does not want to come back until he's 110%, then I say don't rush him back. You're doing pretty well without him. You're 8 games over 500, and right now looking at it, you are in the 5th seed in the East right now. So you're tied for 4th. So you still got yourself in a pretty prime position to possibly make a run for the playoffs. Maybe get to the first round, maybe even get to the second round. So why rush him back?
Right? Yeah. So just save the guy for next year. Hopefully he's ready to pick up his MVP type season numbers and all that, and make a push towards the finals finally. I mean, this is a Bulls team that we've seen.
Right.
We've been rooting for saying that they can go to the finals and they're good enough, but unfortunately their franchise players been injured and things of that nature. So we're gonna see. I say shut them down. There's no reason to bring them back right now because you're going, like we said, you're going to make the playoffs. You have a chance to get a higher seed. So why risk going to the playoffs, losing in the first round again, and losing your franchise player
and breaking the chemistry up too.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. And also the last game that we looked at last night was the Lakers-Hawks game. Lakers won 99-98, but this is actually very important because they finally reached the 500 mark for the first time this season.
Right, and they are definitely looking better, than before. They look like they're starting to mesh as far as chemistry. Old man Kobe is playing at a high level. Another 30-plus game. I mean, the guy is ageless almost.
Mm-hmm.
And, got a highlight reel dunk over Josh Smith. They're looking really good right now. But, I'm not buying the hype necessarily because even if this team makes the playoffs, there's no way they're beating San Antonio, Oklahoma City, or the Clippers in the first round.
Right. And you got to look at it like this, too. Their stretch this season of remaining games, it's going to be a pretty tough one here. They still have, I'm pulling it up right now, they still have a pretty tough stretch of games right now. I think they got 8 games on the road in 10 games after they play against the Bulls, where they got to also go to Atlanta, Indiana, and Golden State, and Milwaukee. And we're actually going to get a chance to see what is this team made out of here. The back end of the schedule looks very favorable, but we're going to see what this team is made out of here. Yeah. I mean, we really are. We really are. And right now that they got to 500 is good. It seems like they have a very good chance to possibly try to creep into the playoff race. But they're going to have to play a whole lot better than they played this season. And they've actually gotten a little bit more consistent. They're 7-3 over the last 10 games. So,
right, yeah. I mean, things are looking up for LA. But at the same time, let's not break out the champagne and the confetti yet. I mean, they still have to catch Utah. You still have to worry about teams like Houston. Portland can get hot. There are a lot of factors still in this. I mean, we have a long way to go.
Right.
So another month and a week of all NBA action, a couple weeks of NBA action, and there's still a lot that can happen.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely,
we'll see if this Laker team, is really worth the current hype and if they can really make it. And like I said, even if they do make it, I mean, look at your consolation prize. You get the Spurs, Clippers, or Oklahoma City first round.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, they're spending all this energy just to make the playoffs, and when they make the playoffs, they have to go against the elite, and that's not going to be easy. And it's probably going to be, a quick exit.
Right. So, like I said, we got ourselves. That's basically all the action that happened yesterday. Taking a look at some of the games that are going to happen throughout this week. Tonight, the only one that's pretty much catching our eye is Hawks Nuggets. And I think TNT has themselves a couple of Tuesday games, Lakers Thunder, and also the Celtics and 76ers. So, those are going to be interesting to really get a chance to watch. And as we have also said about the Sixers, too, it looks like Andrew Bynum is probably going to be out for the season. We don't know quite yet, but I can understand the frustration right now with the Sixers, too.
Oh, yeah, man. You give up pieces like Andrew Iguodala. You take on big contracts like Jason Richardson, and you make these moves to get this elite center, and this is what happens. You're definitely going to be disappointed. And right now, like I told you, I think the last show, Mitch Kupchak looks like a genius. I mean, this is the guy that dealt Andrew Bynum. A guy that had problems with the coach last year. He was fairly healthy last year, but he has a history of that knee. And granted he's only 25, but
right.
These issues were concerns to the Laker organization. So they dealt him.
Mm-hmm.
Got arguably the best big man in the league in Dwight Howard. And, I'd say they're in a much better position because Dwight Howard played, the majority of the season
Right.
with a bad back and a shoulder injury.
Exactly.
And, you're getting, to me, more worth out of him than you would Andrew Bynum.
Because to be honest with you, with as much as a lot of people have been talking about Dwight, not being the same old Dwight and all that stuff, I'd rather have a Dwight Howard that is basically battling through the injuries than a guy that's pretty much showcasing his hairstyle sitting on the bench in street scrubs.
Well, yeah, Bynum is a hell of a player. He's a great guy, but he's 25, and there's moments where he shows he's 25.
Right.
The 3-point shooting from last year.
Yes.
The comments about they got ATMs in every city. Things like that.
JJ Barea.
Yeah, and those were concerns to the JJ Barea attack, and those were concerns that the Laker organization, I'm sure they had, and they took all that into account when they dealt him. It was going to happen. Yeah, and I agree, Clarence. The Magic did win that trade. Now, granted, they don't have a great record.
To show
They're not going to the playoffs.
Right.
This is a team that they beat Dwight Howard and that Lakers team at Staples. They have some keynote victories this season, and they're not as bad as people thought they were going to be.
Oh no.
This is a team that's maybe, I say, 2 more years away from probably being contenders again.
Right.
Because they have hella draft picks. They still have Jameer Nelson. They have Aaron Afalo. They have solid pieces. They just need maybe, one perennial all-star, maybe, a couple young players.
Basically so. And looking at that whole their team right now, I see a very good budding star in like you said about Aaron Aflalo. He's playing pretty well. But one of the big budding stars that they've had, Nikola Vucevic. I actually picked him up in the fantasy team, but we've seen that he can score sometimes, and he also can rebound. Looking at him having 12.1 points per game, 11.2 rebounds. Those are pretty good numbers right now.
Right.
I know he's not getting a lot of airtime because, of course, the Magic are not,
Yeah, they have a horrible record.
They have a horrible record, but, who knows what they could do in the future and all that stuff.
Yeah, and with cap space, anything is possible, it's Orlando, you're gonna get maybe you can attract somebody to Orlando, look at for instance Indiana. They have Danny Granger. I don't think Danny Granger is going to be a Pacers for life, especially with the emergence of Paul George. So maybe you couple draft picks, a player or two, you get Danny Granger in Orlando. The things can be made. You can make moves and things like that. So, the Magic aren't entirely out of it.
Right.
To me, they're just like Cleveland a couple of years ago. One lucky draft pick, next thing you know, you're back on national TV.
Right. And hey, at least the good thing is, they got rid of Chris Dubon.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, that's because it's going to wrap up our first segment of our show. We will be right back to talk about Joe Flacco's big contract. 6 years, $120 million. Hey, Joe, can I just get $5, please? Can I get $5? I just want $5. All right. We will be right back with the Gafford and Brown Show in 30 seconds. All right, we are right back with the Gafford and Brown Show. Very good first segment that we had. Just also reminding you, you can go online. If you're listening to our show, you can make a comment on the bottom right. You can also make a comment or get your voice heard on Skype. You can actually call us a little bit too. Primetime 2832. Or you can also follow us on Twitter and leave a comment on us on there. Primetime 2832 is mine. Uptown Bobby is Rob's. But right now, we're basically just going to talk about Joe Flacco's big-time contract. 6 years, $120 million. Thoughts?
Man, that is a lot of money. But you know what? When you play that well in the playoffs, when you have the record he has in the playoffs, hey, why not? People, or I watched First Take today. I've seen the comments. People saying they overpaid for him, blah, 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 blah. But this man's an unrestricted free agent. He just won you a Super Bowl.
Right.
You have to do something to keep him happy. Now, I don't think Flacco's the best quarterback in the league.
Oh, absolutely not.
You can make an argument he's not even top 5. But, it wasn't just that defense that got them that ring this year.
Exactly.
And the man made the necessary throws, the necessary moves to get them that far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pay him. Pay him.
Pay the man.
Pay the man. Now, granted, what's going to happen to the rest of the team? Ed Reed's probably not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Can they pay Anquan Bolden? Other free agents they have. So it's going to be a lot of moves being made, a lot of contract restructuring, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I feel like Flacco earned the money. I feel like he did enough to get paid that much money. Because here's the thing. Yeah, Drew Brees got paid all that money last year.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees has one Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers got a great deal. He has one Super Bowl.
Right.
Tom Brady hasn't won a Super Bowl in 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
So why not pay him? Now, the other thing I don't like about this, though, let's say Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs go on this amazing run next year.
Right.
Somehow win a Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and now Alex Smith is like, hey, pay me. And Alex Smith ends up being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So
right.
That's the only thing I don't like about these high stakes contracts, because you might have a guy, Michael Vick,
Mm-hmm.
$100 million guy, way too early. I mean, look at it now. They had to restructure his deal,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. I don't think making these type of deals are worth it long term,
Right.
because you never know what's going to happen. The game's so fast, injuries happen,
Mm-hmm.
production drops, things like that.
And I think I read somewhere that all the players that have gotten the $100 million deal, I don't think none of them have actually lived to the whole. I mean, have actually have seen all of that money throughout the life of the contract. I think. I mean, that's in its own right there is pretty amazing, and that too. So this is just something to really think about. Honestly, I would have think if it would have been Flacco, I don't know if I would have paid him 120, but I probably would have paid him around the ballpark, maybe around 80, 90, 95, something like that. I think that would have been fair. That still probably would have kept him happy. That still would have been fair enough too, because you look at it when he had this season, he wasn't really. He was good. He wasn't great, but he wasn't good. He was good. But the playoffs, no interceptions, and 11 touchdowns, and winning all these playoff games. He's won a playoff game each and every single one of his 5 years, most of the times on the road.
Yeah, I mean, the man's done. To me, he's done enough to get the money.
Right.
I mean, granted, he's not the flashiest quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say he only has one throw, and that's the deep throw. But hell, it's effective.
Right.
The man did enough to keep them, and you gotta look at that Denver game, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
That game was won by Baltimore's offense.
Yes.
Outright.
Yes.
I mean, they put up 35 points on the board. The throw downfield to Jacoby Jones is what sent the game to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
That they won the game from pretty much.
Right.
So, it's no longer all about Baltimore's defense carrying them and blah, blah, blah. Joe Flacco actually, he did what he was called to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the man deserves something. And then people mention this QBR thing. Well, he has the worst QBR in the history of the QBR. QBR is only 5 years old. So, yeah, he's going to lay an egg. The man's career is only, 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what the hell? People keep making this mention about the QBR. It's kind of pointless to mention QBR when he has a Super Bowl ring.
Right.
And the stats to back up, a pretty good postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he threw no picks in the playoffs.
Right.
So, QBR what? Whatever.
Exactly. And I've been one of those. I really have not looked at the QB. I really can care less about the QBR, to be honest with you. I mean, because most old school people just look at the quarterback rating. The simple quarterback rating that the NFL, I think, instituted in the 70s, where you can go up to like 158.3. And some people say, well, yeah, the QBR is supposed to be a little bit better. It takes into account deep throws, short passes, all that different type of stuff. But why really tinker with something that's really not broke?
Right.
So, that's kind of one thing, too. And I really don't know about that too. But yeah, the Ravens are also going to have some interesting moves too because they're really going to have to franchise tag somebody.
Yeah, somebody's gonna be a victim of the franchise tag, and somebody's gonna end up, getting cut.
Hmm.
Granted, I don't think Ed Reed is gonna be one of those franchise tags. I mean, I just don't see that happening. But
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. We will see about that, and we maybe who knows what could happen around here. So also looking at some of the other NFL news here too. By the looks of it, we see Gerald Sisselbaugh could be released by the Dallas Cowboys, but also the San Francisco 49ers are thinking about cutting David Akers.
And it's well deserved. This is a guy that missed a kick in the Super Bowl in a dome. It was 30 yards.
I mean, how do you do that, really?
Yeah,
How do you do that?
He had one of the worst, percentages as kickers. It's pretty bad. So hopefully they can find a better replacement.
Right. Now, another thing, too, we also looked about on the NFL a little bit. I think there was a kicker that was a woman, a female kicker actually tried out, but did not get a chance. I think after like 2 kicks, she got hurt or something like that. Do you think we could probably see one of these days a female
Sure,
playing in
sure. Female kicker, I think that can happen. I don't see why it couldn't happen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a kicker in New Mexico
Yes.
that was
Yes.
that was pretty good,
Mhm.
and had a bright future ahead of. I think we could get a female kicker one day in the NFL. Any other position, no, but a female kicker definitely. I could definitely see that happening one day.
Yeah, I could see it happening too one of these days too. Like I said, I remember LSU had the tryout
Yeah.
one time before. I think Mo Isom, whatever her name was. But she actually wanted to try out for the team. She almost got there, but she was kind of like one of the last few cuts. But we could see it. Pretty much, I think we could see it one of these days. Somebody's gonna be actually might pull the deal, might actually try to make the move here. I would have thought maybe if Al Davis, if he was still probably living, he probably would have been the first one to probably try it. I really could see that in Al Davis. You think?
Yeah, I could see it. I could see baby Jerry Jones making, taking that risk. He's flamboyant. You have to be an owner of, some stature maybe doing it.
Some clout and all that stuff too. And right now I'm looking at another article here. Let's see what this says here. ESPN has NFL's most overvalued players. Also looking at it here too, it looks like Randy Moss's days in San Francisco might be coming to an end.
Yeah, the Twitter, the good luck tweet, things like that. I mean, I think Randy Moss is going to get signed again.
Mm-hmm.
Who I don't know, but he's gonna get another chance.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I think Dallas is one team I would love to see take that chance on him because Dallas last year had all those receiver injuries, and I think they're possibly going to get rid of Miles Austin. So, why not?
Right. Now, also, since I couldn't pull up that article, talk about the franchise tag here. Do you think it's pretty good for the league, or do you think it's pretty bad?
The franchise tag?
Yes.
I think it's helped. It's helped a lot of teams keep, premier talent, things of that nature. It gives leverage to smaller teams, like the Jaguars or teams like that. It helps. I have no problem with the franchise tag. You?
Nah, I don't have any problem with it too. I mean, I know some players might be a little bit upset about it, but it keeps you with this team, and you might can renegotiate. But the problem is, though, if you don't really want to renegotiate with the team, then you probably can incense some, a little bit furious attitudes and all that stuff. You might have an unhappy player. You might trade somebody. There you go. So I say, I mean, I really have no problem with it either. Here too. Looks like also Madden NFL, the new Madden is going to have a cover vote play in sometime soon too.
As long as it's not Peyton Manning, I'm fine. Or Adrian Peterson,
or the Marcus Ware.
Let's hope it's somebody, maybe Flacco, maybe.
Yeah.
But But yeah, the Madden curse is one of those things that it's still a bit superstitious, but man, it's been some history to back it up. I mean,
Mm,
just with Calvin Johnson last year. I mean,
yeah,
true he had a career season, but
the team was not that
the
good.
team wasn't that good. They didn't make the postseason,
Right.
compared to the year before when they made the playoffs. And
Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was promoted in the game. He was had the intro video. He got hurt. We thought it's just the end of his career, pretty much. We thought, oh dang, the Madden curse got him. Turns out, did not get him. No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
yeah.
You got the Super Bowl.
He wasn't on cover though. I take the cover serious because that Michael Vick injury was the one that really scared me.
Right. Clarence says no Adrian Peterson.
Oh no, don't put Adrian Peterson there. I mean, the man been through hell and back with the ACL. Don't put him on Madden.
Please
and all that.
No.
Put Joe Webb on the cover, but not AP.
And please don't put RG3 on there either.
Oh man,
I would not want to see RG3 all there.
Yeah, RG3 on the Madden cover would be good because I mean we're already speculating his return,
right?
So we don't need Madden helping. But that's I mean we definitely need to see when is the Madden curse going to end?
That's a good question.
We thought it was a fluke maybe when trying to think when the last time we thought it was a fluke because look at Sean Alexander. Remember he was on the cover. Oh
yeah.
Man, that was horrible. The double cover with Palomalu and Larry Fitzgerald.
Right. Palomalu got hurt.
Yeah.
That year.
Oh man, it's just
Brett Favre. Basically, we thought they thought they pretty much took a good step because they got a retired guy. They basically got a retired headache.
Yeah, came back with the Jets and pretty much did not do too much.
Yeah. And so you looking at all of the ones here even from Barry Sanders, he retired. Eddie George, a fumble.
Yeah.
Dante Culpepper, no. Marshall Faulk, no. I mean, I really cannot see any person that was on the cover. Even Peyton Hillis, which I still cannot believe. How did he get on the cover?
He has a cousin working at Madden or something because Peyton Hillis on the cover of Madden. That's like J.R. Smith on the cover of ESPN or something. I mean NBA 2K or something. But it's crazy. The Madden curse still kicks. You remember the Sports Illustrated curse?
Yes.
Yeah.
I still remember
back
that.
when Sports Illustrated mattered, but now it's I mean, I guess it doesn't exist anymore because nobody really reads Sports Illustrated anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems silly and superstitious at first, but the things keep happening. So let's hope the next guy on the cover of Madden doesn't have any crazy, dramatic injury or season struggles.
Right, and I hope so. I hope that's not the case. That's not the case either. But I already know who I'm gonna vote for. Any person that's not a Cowboy. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want any of my Cowboys or any of my favorite players to get into this. Nope. No way, no how. So we're gonna go ahead, take ourselves another 30-second break with this show. We're gonna basically talk about Dennis Rodman.
Oh man, this U.S. ambassador now.
Can he be the one that actually get a chance to broker world peace? Wow, we're gonna get a chance to see our thoughts about that in 30 seconds. This is the Gafford and Brown Show. All right, we're right back with the Gafford and Brown Show, and right now we're gonna basically talk about Dennis Rodman here. I showed Rob the picture before, and I'm probably gonna show y'all also about Dennis Rodman too. Look at the get-up that he had on.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman, NBA champion, playboy, philanthropist, peacemaker.
Really?
Possibly.
Now, we all know that he got a chance to go to North Korea. He met with Kim Jong-un. And the surprising thing is, I think he was probably the first American to step foot on North Korea's soil to at least get a chance to talk to him or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure all the specifics, but the fact that Dennis Rodman got to lead the country at all is pretty big news, considering this man is post rehab, and he's Dennis Rodman, so you don't even want him in your own state sometimes. I wouldn't want Dennis Rodman in a bar, but much less out of the country.
Right.
So that's pretty big news, and then to see these rumors about him, actually having a good time over there and, being influential. It's kind of crazy. I mean, could Dennis Rodman be a future ambassador of the U.S. Dennis
That
Rodman for UN.
like really? I mean, really? It's just kind of crazy right here that I just can't. When I first saw the pictures with him hanging out with Kim Jong Un, I was like, of all people, why Dennis Rodman? I mean, like, couldn't they get somebody else? I mean, maybe like, couldn't they have gotten, George Clooney, Michael Jordan, any other person and stuff like that? Why does Dennis Rodman have to be the first person to go and all? But it sounds like he had a very fun time about that, getting a chance to meet with him, and actually they got a chance to talk a little bit about basketball, and he found out that Kim Jong Un likes basketball a whole lot. So really brokering world peace and all that stuff. I guess we found a common. I guess he found a common ground between him and Obama that they both like basketball.
Now, I want to ask you this: do you think a lot of people we compared Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest, to
Yes.
Dennis Rodman? Could you see Meta World Peace, following in Rodman's footsteps, trying to, do the whole international superstar thing, going overseas?
I honestly feel like that he could.
With a name like Meta World Peace, you would expect such.
Oh yeah. I honestly think he could because he actually tried. He actually wanted to try to do that in the lockout. I think he wanted to go to play basketball for England, and he might would have been a hit there. Unfortunately, the lockout got lifted up, and he wound up having to come back to the Lakers. But I really think that he could actually be well received by the fans in overseas. What do you think?
I think Middle World Peace will work out overseas because one of his name is Middle World Peace, and then he's a pretty open-minded guy. The man loves basketball, but he also loves to travel. He loves music. He loves anything that that's pretty much interesting to him. So the guy's he's in the right direction, and we compare a lot of people compare him to Ron Artest. Basically he's Ron Artest,
Right.
Not Ron Artest, but he's Dennis Rodman
Exactly.
without the tattoos.
Exactly. And see, that's just the point right there. So, I really think that he possibly can do this. So, who knows? I mean, who really knows about that? But that's just an interesting thing about that. And I'm just so shocked that he got a chance to meet him,
Right.
So on the other hand, on the flip side here, have you been looking at some of these Harlem Shake videos, Rob?
I finally saw the Miami Heat one, and I gotta say it was pretty epic.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Dwayne Wade had the weirdest get up to me. The Kanye teddy bear head and the blazer with the shirt, no shirt, and the baby oil. It was they caught me off guard a bit.
Right. We're gonna play it a little bit for y'all and all this stuff here too. But for those of y'all that don't quite know it, but looking at the video right here, you got Birdman walking around, flapping his wings, doing Birdman things.
Yeah.
You got everybody else stretching, doing just the normal thing and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then it gets crazy. LeBron pop locking. There's really not much Harlem shaking though. That's the crazy part. Mario Chalmers dressed as Super Mario. Chris Bosh with the cowboy hat and radio, and LeBron pulsating, sweating, and Dwayne Wade with the teddy bear head and the Miami Vice suit, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, Mario Chalmers there, and Birdman with the rag on his face. Now Shane Battier is the. Now, who's Shane Battier? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question too, because I think somebody told me that Ray Allen was the fan of the opera thing, but I kind of but yeah, but just looking at it here though, just going to that one, it seemed like the Heat really had a fun time making this video, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's always good to me to see LeBron James have a good time because.
Mm-hmm.
During that whole first season in Miami, he played every game with that, that FU stare.
Yes.
So it's good now to see him happy. So,
right. And exactly. And just looking at it like that, I know a lot of people always wish for LeBron to be like, well, why don't you be like more like Jordan and be like Kobe, be like the killer assassin, have no fun and all that stuff. But then again, that's just LeBron.
Right.
I mean, LeBron. I mean, we all have different personalities.
How much time do we have before the next break?
I don't know exactly.
Or do you want to save this for the last segment? Because I definitely want to talk about this.
Oh, definitely.
This slam dunk contest thing.
Oh, definitely. We do. We will talk about that.
Yeah.
We can talk about it now if you want.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
let's do it.
Okay, this whole thing with Magic Johnson and the pot, of the money, the $1 million pot to get LeBron the slam dunk contest is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard of when it comes to the NBA. Because, I mean, LeBron James doesn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's had every chance to do it.
Right.
He could do it. This is LeBron James, the face of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
If he ever wanted to do a slam dunk contest, he would do it.
Mm-hmm.
He would say, "I'm in, sign me up, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
So offer the man $1 million when he makes that, just from showing up to a party or showing up in a Samsung commercial, kind of silly. And I think it's ridiculous that we want so bad to see LeBron in a dunk contest. Because honestly, I think LeBron in a dunk contest would be a snooze fest. Because to me, LeBron's the in-game dunker.
Right.
And, the stuff he did during practice, that was cool. But, with the bright lights and the All-Star game, is he going to hit that dunk the first time?
Right.
And I think LeBron feels like it's not necessarily a waste of time. But, the man's, he's what, is his 10th year? But ninth season, 10th season?
9th season, 10th season, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why do a dunk contest in your 9th or 10th season? It's kind of... I'm not for it. I would like to see Blake Griffin maybe again because I've seen Blake Griffin in a dunk contest. I know what he's capable of.
Right.
But I'm not sure LeBron James is really doing anything just spectacular that we've never seen done.
Right.
It's really just a name.
Right.
And I just think right now people keep pressuring this man to do a dunk contest as if it matters. The man won a ring. He has multiple MVPs. He led one of the worst teams ever to the finals. What would the dunk contest submit in his career? What would it prove?
Really nothing. I mean, I bet you people just want to see him do it because, well, hey, Jordan did it.
Yeah, Jordan did it. Yeah.
Kobe done it.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it? But you also got to look at the ages when they did it too. I think Jordan first entered the dunk contest when he was a rookie, and he stopped doing it. I think it was his 5th year.
Yeah, LeBron was one and done. I mean, Kobe was one and done.
Kobe was one and done. That was after his rookie season.
Yeah, T-Mac was one and done. Vince Carter one and done. Blake Griffin one and done. I mean, it's just something you can only do. To me, the dunk contest, you can't do more than one now because we haven't seen it that much.
Right.
We actually
got a call. Clarence Sellers. Gonna get a chance to get the video around here for him. Here. All right. First of all, caller, Clarence, how you doing?
All right, fellas, I had to get in on that one too. Look, this slam dunk thing. Hey, you guys are together today. How you guys? The slam dunk thing is obviously this thing is. I mean, I'm surprised they just don't get rid of it. I remember they tried getting rid of it back. I think it was like '98 or whatever. They got rid of it. Brought it back, and then obviously Vince Carter did the thing. I think I was arguing about this with somebody on a sports forum yesterday. And I said, well, think about when Vince Carter did this. He only did it one time, and he left. Never did it again.
Right.
I said the reason why he did that was because obviously he was afraid to either lose again, or he was just afraid, or he just didn't want to mess up his brand. Because I mean, and when it's all said and done, what are two things you're gonna forever know Vince Carter for in his career? What are two things you forever know him doing?
Dunk contest.
In the Olympics, in the dunk contest.
Yes.
So had he got back the following season and lost to some, I forgot who won it in 2001 or whatever it was, and lost it to him,
yeah,
that's a big work against him.
Yeah.
And I think LeBron thinks the same thing. I think, and Robert, you said it best, and I've always argued this point. He did it 6 years ago. He's not gonna do it now.
No.
He did it. He ain't gonna do it now.
Not at all.
The thing with Magic, the Magic thing was Stephen A. Smith hit it right on the nail. This one, dude. The All-Star game was about 3 weeks ago. You gotta put that money up there.
Yeah. Like Magic Johnson got $1 million under his mattress. He got this money, man. He blinks his eyes, he makes $1 million. So why wait till after All-Star game. Like, hey, I had to save up this money, LeBron, but I got it now. Do the dunk contest. You been had $1 million.
I said, now, Magic, if you would have came out with this back in like December or something,
Yeah.
Yes.
I got $1 million, right? And we know you got it. We know you got it, Magic.
Got it. Oh, man. And now it makes Magic Johnson look like the Don King of basketball now. Like he promoting, like he throwing money at people now. So soon he gonna throw $1 million at Larry Bird. Hey Larry, come back and do the 3-point shootout. You know, I give you $1 million to come back and do the 3-point shootout. You know, it's getting ridiculous. It's like wrestling now. You got people putting up money
Right.
to come do this stuff. It's getting crazy, man.
I mean, it really is, man. But I mean, you gotta also look at it like this too. LeBron's a power dunker. I mean, he's pretty much a power dunker. I see some style in some style of it, but LeBron, when he dunks, he likes to make a statement, and he likes to make a statement just by dunking as hard as he can.
Here's another thing that someone brought up to me recently that, I never thought about it until I heard this the other day. An in-game dunker. Do you think LeBron's a better in-game dunker than he is an actual dunker of just somebody who just created a dunk off of just, hey, I'm this type of dunker, a style dunker, I guess that's what it was saying. Someone was saying he's a better in-game dunker. It's almost like game speed. You're not fast when you're off the field. When you get on the field and you're playing in the game, you're just the fastest thing in the world. It's kind of like that. So I'm like, yeah, I guess you can look at that. Like, most of LeBron's dunks are coming off of him running 90 feet down the court.
Yeah,
right.
Fast break.
Yes.
Yeah, the cock back, like that. Yeah. I just can't see him really amazing me in a dunk contest, just cock it back every dunk. I'm not going to care. That's not a 10 to me.
No.
If LeBron loses to Jeremy Evans, that would be the worst thing ever. Like you lost to Jeremy Evans. How could he ever live with that?
Right.
Hey, Robert, you thought Twitter killed him when he came to the NBA Finals last year to Lamar's Mavericks.
Oh, man.
No. Oh, if he lost to Jeremy, man, that would be the man. LeBron would, I think LeBron would have to take some time off. He'd be like, Spo, I got to sit out a couple games because I lost to Jeremy Evans. Yeah, man, but if he actually did the dunk contest and he lost, people would. Skip Bayless would have the greatest show ever. It's just all the haters would just be happy. Michael won his. Michael. It's crazy, man.
Definitely go back to the 2007 version of Skip Bayless hating on LeBron James, boy. He would murder him.
Yes.
He would murder him.
Now, Clarence, I got to ask you, since we're on basketball, tonight, by Miami, he played the Minnesota Timberwolves. How big would that be for Minnesota to break the streak?
I've been online this morning to say that I think that the Timberwolves break the streak, and of course, I might have a lot of crow to eat tomorrow, but obviously if they break the streak, I mean, it'll be a huge win for them. Obviously, like I said before, this team, us and the Sixers are probably the only two teams in the league that can really use the injury excuse this year, because obviously injuries has really just done this team in right here. To have a win against Miami, of course, last year we almost beat them at home last year. Of course, then we lost to them by 3 points. It was actually a good game. Of course, Love played in that game, and he actually played well in that game against LeBron and Wade. It's just they won on some freakish inbound play that only those two could pull off. So to win this game tonight, it'll be a big win for us. I think obviously we're losing games. We're losing games we should win. So obviously a game that we shouldn't win, maybe we will win tonight. That'll go well. And I don't know, but I mean it'll be a big win. I mean obviously I was looking forward to coming out of the All-Star break, winning 5 straight games and getting ourselves back into the playoff hunt. But yeah, I'll go ahead and settle for the draft.
Yeah, because this was a team that a lot of people had at least making the 8th seed, off season, and now with all the injuries, y'all have a valid excuse with the injuries. You lose Kevin Love with a broken hand, comes back, averaging, putting up 30 games, balling, then gets hurt again, and then y'all got Derek Williams there, and it's like there's no trade made. He's still on the bench, he's still getting minutes. It's like, I mean, should he have been traded?
Derek Williams. I think if they're going to trade him, it's going to be if Love was around, he's gone. Yeah, no doubt. If Kevin Love was here, he's out. I even think even if he's slated to come back either this week or next week, sometime soon. I know Love is slated to come back within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I think he's going to come back around at the same time. Obviously, if one or both of those are here, I think Williams is gone. I think he's a goner. I think Derek Williams, the thing with him is he might be finding his game now a little bit. I've seen him in the last couple of games. There's a few things he still got to learn that kind of frustrated me a little bit. I think it was the game against OKC that kind of frustrated me a little bit there. Then I saw the game with LA last Thursday, and I was like, we might want to keep him one more year, but then again, I don't know if front management would do the same thing. And then, one of my not so favorite buddies, David Kahn, may not be around this offseason to see this because his contract could be up soon, and they could be getting rid of him. Heard some rumors that Flip Saunders could actually come back and be the GM of the team.
Wow.
There's some rumors there, and of course, as you know, Glenn Taylor is in the process of selling the team. He's actually found a partner that he's going to sell it off to within the next couple of years. So there could be big changes there as well. But like I said, with the Derek Williams thing, and like I said, if Love was healthy, he's gone. I do think he was gone, and I also thought that maybe they should have traded him for a JJ Redick. I kind of wanted JJ Redick.
Exactly, and that would have been a nice move.
We need perimeter shooting like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I think out there, we definitely could have used him.
Yeah, I feel you there, man. I feel you there.
Hey, I got something for you though. For you, Clarence. I got something for you, really. I guess every time you come on the show, we're gonna play that for you. But also I wanted to also talk to you a little bit about college basketball too. Big ups to your Minnesota Golden Gophers. You said that they were gonna beat Indiana. They beat Indiana. Your thoughts about that game?
Yes, that did. I felt like we did because I think after watching the first game where they annihilated us, I think they had us down like 29 points. We came back and cut it within 8. We could have actually won that game too, but I just think towards our comeback, we just kind of faltered towards the end. And I think we ran out of time. Trevor Mbakwe really took Zeller out the game immediately, and I think that's the real reason why we won there. Zeller got taken out of the game almost immediately, and he wasn't the same after that. I think it was a putback slam. No, it was a block shot of Zeller. I think Zeller was coming out of the block, and then Mbakwe came out of nowhere and just, oh man, he just threw his shot and then threw him to the ground as well. And then that right there, I think, really sparked the Gophers there and it went there. But I mean, honestly, guys, tell you about the Big Ten though. I mean, what are you guys feeling on the Big Ten here? I mean, how many teams do you guys think that the Big Ten could get in this year?
I'm going with 4.
Let me see. Michigan's in. Ohio State. Indiana, of course. Michigan State. Maybe you might can add Minnesota in there too. I think that win right there kind of helped them out.
They went from on the bubble to
yeah. That win kind of helped them out a little bit. I mean, right now the big.
Let me tell you about the Minnesota thing. And I just learned this too. The strength of schedule. Minnesota has a top strength of schedule in the game right now. So with that win against number 1, and obviously puts them in. You got to remember Illinois also beat Indiana when they were number 1. They would probably sneak in, although they're kind of unabove. It's 6 to 7 teams I got right there. But I think the new rankings came out today. And what do you guys feel about Gonzaga being number 1? Or do you guys think maybe Duke or Indiana should have been number 1?
I think Gonzaga earned it because you had all those teams fall, so recently. I give it to Gonzaga. I think they earned it.
Yeah, it's pretty much about time for them. I mean, it's about time that they get some recognition about it. They are one of the top teams in there, and you got everybody losing around them, and they're basically showing themselves that they're keeping on winning. So, hey, props to Gonzaga, man.
Give me your top 4 seeds, Clarence.
I was just getting ready to ask you. Here's what I think. Of course, a lot of this is going to be contingent on the conference tournaments next week. right now in the West, if Gonzaga holds and win out their tournament I think you have to give them the number one home in the West. As far as the Midwest goes, obviously the Big Ten winner would take that. Obviously, I if they do win, they probably could win the ACC with another win. They'll win the ACC outright, the regular season title. If they could beat Duke in that tournament, you have to
They
almost
got
have
it.
to give them the number one. And you almost have to give them.
Yeah,
got
have to give it to
you got it.
Duke.
You gotta give it to them.
And
That's
the Big East. The weird thing about it was Georgetown. Of course, if they could survive that Big East thing, I think for the East you have to give Georgetown that nod in the East. So it, like I said, a lot of it comes down to the tournaments. But I think my four would be. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. No, I'll say Duke. I'll say Duke in the South because Ryan Kelly, and I thought he was overrated before.
yeah, Kelly.
Man,
He the truth.
He came out guns blazing. I'll say Duke, Gonzaga, Indiana, and I'm gonna go with. I think Georgetown is. No, I'm gonna go Miami. I think Miami still will get a number one seed somewhere somehow. I still think they're a number one seed.
With the season they had, yeah, I can give it to them too. With their ACC record, and like you said, if they win the ACC, they getting their number one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right, yeah, that's just but that game was that Miami game was crazy, and I think and I mean, man, Ryan Kelly, yeah, he balled out the other day. And I think and they're right. If he can ball like that, yeah, Duke is obviously could be the number one overall. But
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been telling y'all, see, this Duke team is Final Four worthy if they can just stay healthy.
Right.
Because they're kind of limited. You know, the bench, kind of weak.
Mm-hmm. I just hope that we beat them.
North Carolina.
I hope we beat them.
North Carolina Duke, man. I hate Lamar.
Hey, Lamar, we know they're coming along. I mean, a few weeks ago, especially after that foul being against Miami, you would have thought, those guys, they're NIT bound. All of a sudden, if they do beat Duke this weekend, you can almost say
because I'm looking at the bracketology a little bit right now. ESPN actually has them as a let me see. I don't want to as a 7 seed. It's not bad.
That's the strength off the name, though, man.
Yeah.
It threw y'all a bone,
Okay.
man. It threw y'all a bone, man. Yeah, man, y'all a brand name like Pepsi.
Yeah.
I guess it's in their case if they can beat Duke and somehow go to the ACC tournament and get deep in
Get hot.
I mean, who knows?
I thought they were dead a couple of weeks ago after that Miami loss.
I thought so too. I mean, looking at the season that they had, I was kind of like, why? But how about your top number one seed?
I think people are sleeping on Florida. I think people are sleeping on that Florida team. I think that Florida team can win the SEC. I think if they can win the SEC, I think they're going to get one. Indiana, Duke, and I'm going to say Gonzaga.
Well, Robert, let me ask you this about the Florida thing. Now, I would if do you think by them playing in the SEC this year and it being not a top top conference, do you think that might be held against Florida a little bit as far as a number one holder?
I don't know. They
The
have been.
Tennessee loss might have killed them a little bit. I think that's the reason why. I think that Tennessee loss hurt them badly.
They have been weak. The SEC has been weak this year, especially with Kentucky being younger, and then that Noel injury, and like you said, like Tennessee beating Florida. It's been one of their weaker years, but I think the fact that it's the SEC. I mean, I still think the SEC is a basketball power conference because you had those Florida teams back to back. You had Kentucky last year. I think they still have some clout now. I think if they can show, I think they have a good run in the end and win the SEC tournament. I think they get it number one. That's
the reason why. Because if I was to make if they were the number 5 team, Florida would be the number 5 team to get in. That means most likely Miami or Duke would have to slip up early in the tournament.
Yeah. Now,
For
Grant,
them to sneak in.
yeah. I think if Miami has a strong showing in the tournament, I think they deserve the seed over Florida because they have a hell of a season. But right now, I like Florida's chances of winning the SEC. I think they can pull it off. I think Miami might get surprised in that tournament. I think somebody like NC State maybe.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Wake Forest could shoot them out the gym again like they did last week.
Right, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, man. This is one of the most fun March Madness I've had because last year we all knew Kentucky was gonna be Kentucky.
It was pretty much the coordination right there.
Yeah,
I mean, well, that's the thing. Yeah, anybody. I guess I'm gonna leave my next thing to ask you guys. Who would you guys pick as a dark horse? Because I mean, that's exactly what I was gonna say. There's no dominant team this year.
Oh man, that's a good question. I like now. Granted, they're ranked highly. I like Louisville as a dark horse. I know you can't say Louisville really a dark horse, but nobody's really picking Louisville to win it all this year or go to the Final Four. I mean, I like them. I like the odds. You never can count Patino. Last year they had a Final Four berth. What were you about to say, Clarence?
They're number 8 with the new rankings that came out there. They're 8th, right?
Yeah, they're 8.
Okay, if they win the Big East tournament, and let's say Duke gets knocked out, Miami might get. Well, let's say, for example purposes, Indiana gets put out in the Big Ten tournament early on. Miami gets. Well, they're going to be number 1 seed. Never mind. Let's just say Duke and Miami gets put out early in the ACC tournament, and Louisville beats the Big East. Goes through and wins the Big East, beating Syracuse, Georgetown, and
Notre Dame,
maybe a Notre Dame or something in succession in winning the tournament. Would you then bump them to a number 1 hole, or are they a solid 2?
They're number 1 to me if all that happens. If the stars line up for that to happen, they're number 1. Because Louisville with Patino, they gonna get that number 1 if all that happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it goes. College coaches get that.
But they were 1 seed, then they lost that weird game against Syracuse.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Crazy loss. I like Ohio State as kind of a dark horse. I think they're 16th right now.
Let me check and see. Right now they're 14th. Yeah.
They're 14th. I like Ohio State. I like Kraft. Last year I had Ohio State win it all. They went to the Final Four. I like Ohio State. They're so scrappy.
Mm-hmm.
So who's your dark horse, Clarence?
I would have to say Michigan State. Somehow Tom Izzo just.
He does.
I didn't think this team would be this good. I mean, obviously, these teams stay around. I think I have to say Michigan State. I would almost say Wisconsin, but I'll go with Michigan State over Wisconsin on that one. I think that Michigan State, Izzo just he gets his guys to play, especially in this Big Ten. I mean, this is a tough conference. Year after year, he's got his guys in the top 3 of the conference. And this year, I honestly didn't think Michigan State would be. I thought it'd be like a 5th seed in this conference. He's got them in the top, and he's got them in the top. They would have won, and had they not lost yesterday, they could have had a shot at winning the title. They had winning it all, but
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Michigan State.
Well, Lamar, who's your dark horse?
I'm trying to look at it a little bit, because I would have thought one of those Pac-12 teams, but I kind of not feeling too hot about them. But I'm not kind of feeling too hot about them. But maybe a team like Wisconsin. I don't know. I mean, I'll go ahead and say it since you didn't say it. I'll probably say Wisconsin. I mean, historically they're pretty good. If they can get you with that tempo, that slower tempo, with Bo Ryan knows, they can hang around in there too. So, who knows? Maybe Wisconsin.
Okay, guys, who wins it? well, never mind. I guess I'll let you guys say that for another show.
We'll save that. But let's talk about how we.
I forgot the tournament already. The whole season he put in.
let's talk about how weak the Pac-12 looks this year, though.
Oh yeah.
Like the Pac-12, like man, we thought UCLA would have a pretty dominant run with Shabazz and but he's been streaky. Arizona, they've had some good games, but there's no dominant team really.
That was the first Pac-12 game I've watched all year. It was. Best things, everybody. I was kind of ticked off that they had Duke and Miami come on before those. I was like, well, wait, this should be the prime time game. Switch things, come on, ESPN. But yeah, out of the Pac-12, I don't know. I don't think they're not as strong as they were, a couple of years ago. I don't think they're probably where the Big Ten was about 5 years ago. They're not as they only got maybe one or two good teams there, and then everybody else is just
right,
hanging around.
Because I'm trying to think. It was, I think it was last year. Last year they did not have too much of a good showing because they only had two teams that made it. I think it was Colorado and California, and I think the year before that, I think they had only Washington and
Yeah, I know
Arizona.
Washington made with Isaiah Thomas. I know they had made it, but
Yeah, because looking at the standings right now, there's really not one team that really stands out as like, oh wow, this team can actually do some damage in the tournament. Like for real.
Arizona's the only ranked team there, right? Or is it Oregon too? Or is it
Yeah.
Arizona?
Yeah, but there's no number one seed coming out of Pac-12.
Mm-mm.
There, yeah.
There's probably maybe fourth or third at the highest. Maybe a fourth seed at the highest.
Right. So, this is a conference that, I mean, those Final Four appearances by UCLA a couple years ago, they're looking real old,
Mm-hmm.
Real old.
I mean, those banners are getting some dust on them right now.
Those are pretty good teams, though. We love Westbrook and all them guys that are doing well.
Yeah,
with
Drew.
these
Yeah.
That goes pretty good team out there.
Yeah, and
it's a
the
long
Heat.
way from that, though.
Yeah, the Heat's kind of getting on Ben Howland because you've had some talent come through, and they won't commit. They leave. Kevin Love, I mean, he got out.
Mm-hmm.
He
He's
jetted.
leaving too, isn't he? He's leaving now. Ben Holler just said the other day he's leaving too. Like, like, are you keeping anybody here?
Yeah, and you gotta say he's probably on the hot seat now to have all those high class recruits come and have no titles, not one.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's probably on the hot seat.
That kind of ran Steve Lavin out of there at one point.
Yeah.
Now I got a good question. Now I got a good question for the both of you. Yeah.
Championship. You have to go to like the NBA draft, guys. Week draft that's getting ready to happen. Do you think Noel should stay an extra year, or do you think he should come out?
Come out. He's gonna come out. I'm sure that injury scared him enough to where he's probably gonna come out early. To me, if he's your number one pick, that's proof that the draft is weak because he's a solid defensive player. He's a great defender. The blocks. He's pretty good at that. But he's a number one pick. That's not. I mean, to me, he's not a number one pick.
That's not a good thing if
No.
a player was missed half the season with injury.
Yeah, and you got probably somebody like Alan Kraft that might be considered a top pick. It's a weak draft. It's already got people looking forward to next year's draft. It's that bad, but I just can't. I mean, yeah. And, I think to me, I'm looking at Duke. I think Curry is going to be probably one of the premier point guards to come out. But it's a weak draft. It's a very weak draft.
It really is because I did a couple of projections. Those little things on ESPN, those random draw things, and I think one had Noel at 1, but most of them actually had Noel at like 3. Like for real? I mean, after a big time injury like that, I mean that can just remind us of like the 2000 draft when I think Kenyon Martin went down with a season-ending injury, and yet he was still the number one pick.
That killed Cincinnati, yeah. I think that was 2002, but that killed Cincinnati right there. I remember that. I remember Cincy was. They were kind of like how the Gonzaga team, but they were number one. They were getting ready to go and right hurt himself in the Big East tournament. I said, oh man, no, we can't do that.
Now here's a good question for the both of you that I actually had in mind. Is this going to be probably the first year that we might can get a chance to see a 16 beating the 1?
Nah, I'm not. Nah. Nah, not
No, not yet.
Nah, not
It's
yet.
not that parody.
Not
I'll tell
yet,
you what it
'cause-
could be. It depends. Well, no, I don't see it happening, but like I said,
it's going to happen.
the chances of it happening could be a lot. The chance of it happening could be a lot better than ever been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will it happen? No.
Yeah, it's going to happen soon. Though. We're going to see it happen, but I don't see what it might be. Southern University getting a 16 seed against, Gonzaga or something like that. Nah, I don't see that happening. Not
Right.
now, not this year. But it's going to happen one day.
Yeah, it's gonna happen one day.
With the talent being so spread out, and you're going to get some scrappy team that comes in, and they don't care who you are.
Mhm.
They're going to win. It's going to happen one day, but not right now.
Exactly.
But I think there's a strong possibility that you can have 3 number 1 seeds going home before the end of the first round, or the end of the first weekend, I should say. Something like that could happen.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I don't count that out. But
A 16 beating the 1, I
Nah,
kind of
not
don't
yet.
see it. Yeah, I mean it's a little higher this year, but until it really happens,
yeah. But you gotta get love to being majors this year.
I don't
Though.
think it would happen yet. Although if Kansas was the number 1, you'd probably be a little scared, Nick. Bill Self has dropped some. He has dropped some earlier first round losses to some teams that you say,
I never picked Kansas to go far. To me, 2000. What was that? 2008. That was a fluke to me. I never picked Kansas to go that far because they break your heart. They break your heart. They smash it.
They always do, and that's even when Roy Williams was coaching.
Yeah, that's why he jetted out in the middle of the night.
It has to be a number 1 team if that TCU loss. I just can't get it out of my head.
I mean, how do you lose to TCU?
Yeah.
He turned Oklahoma right after that. It's like, okay, this is football here. I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't football here. You lost to TCU in Oklahoma. I'm like, oh no. And then they're like, well, Kansas can still get the number 1 seed. And I said, well, a lot has to happen for that. I said, if Gonzaga falls off, then maybe.
I mean, that TCU loss for
They might have something to say about that though.
I mean, that TCU loss for Kansas makes the Penn State loss. I mean, the Michigan loss to Penn State look tame.
Yeah,
In a way.
I know the Big Ten might be the top conference in the league, but yeah, you can't lose to Penn State like that. You can't lose to Penn State like that.
No, you
I mean,
can't.
the bad thing was we played Penn State the game after. We annihilated. We just annihilated. Almost 30. So I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
It's been kind of funny to see the Big Ten become a big basketball conference again, and and football kind of take a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the last couple of years, it was like Michigan State and Indiana and
Wisconsin and all those guys. Those are your usual. Those are your usual 2
Right.
3. Yeah, but I think Indiana and Michigan were the ones that made it because they had to come back. I mean, like I said, just a couple of, even with the Kelvin Sampson thing, he was getting them going. Then he did what he did, and then it pulled the plug in there on that thing there. And then Michigan, of course, all the years with the whole Fab Five issue, what they had, with the Chris Webber issue, I should say,
Right.
they were recovering from that. So it's good to see those 2 teams back and going. So yeah. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see now the Big Ten rising up. I think Ohio State and Michigan, like I said, between Ohio State, Michigan State, and Wisconsin, it's those 3 that's been running it over the last few years. So
Right. Yeah, because the last couple of years it was like more of a football conference instead of a basketball conference. Now the roles have been reversed. Because in football, y'all, man, it's been looking kind of bad, man. And Alabama Michigan game, man, woo! Hey, them country boys, hey.
Us out here in SEC country kind of been.
they're not giving us good representation on that one.
Yeah, man, y'all been kind of slacking come football when it comes to the.
The SEC Big Ten. I get murdered on that every time, especially. I get murdered about that every time.
Now, I want to ask you this: Do you think the playoff system that's going to happen, the little playoffs, do you think that's going to help spread out the wealth? Come in terms of college football, you think it's going to take something away from the SEC, spread the wealth a little bit, or you think it's going to be business as usual?
It could turn into business as usual. I think isn't there like a restriction on how many teams can actually be in the tournament? Like, is it like 2 or? Yeah, I have to look into that. But I mean, obviously it helps out with I think this year, you had Alabama and Notre Dame, and I think a lot of people felt like Oregon should have, at least. Yeah, obviously, I guess after in hindsight, 2020, obviously, we would all raise our hands and say, yeah, we'd rather have Oregon play Alabama because Notre Dame didn't have a puncher's chance after that first quarter in that game. So yeah, I think in a situation like that, you obviously want to have a tournament. I think if you look at what the NCAA can look at the other side of what basketball is doing, and it's kind of a damn shame that all these big time conferences are coming to an end. I think with the Big East, there you're kind of looking at it, you're saying, oh man, all these rivalries are getting ready to end soon because they have to leave because of football. It's kind of like it's a downer there. But honestly, if you look at what basketball is doing, football can it happen? It can happen. It's just you have to do it. And I think now this is going in the right step. You don't have to make it a big 20, 30 team because 16 is probably enough. And like I said, you have after the conference championship games, you have damn near a month and a half of just open space. But, it's not gonna hurt nobody. It's all about doing. It's all about coming out of that old mind of the old. You play a game and then all voters vote. Okay, this is the national champion, and it's like, well, what about us? It kind of reminds me of in '97 when Michigan and
Nebraska?
Was Washington State.
Yeah, Washington State.
Were both shared national champions. It's like, well, the hell with voting them national champion. It's 1 year right before the BCS was implemented. To hell with that. Put them on one field, let them play each other, and we'll find out then who's better.
Right.
I've always said I wanted to be like between a 16 and a 32 team. Maybe get some chaos around here somewhere and stuff like that. I don't know.
I'm favoring top 10. Top 10.
Okay.
10 is the number for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 teams, let them play, and and still people will gripe because
Right.
I'll be honest. The reason this playoff system going in because these other conferences are getting pissed off that the SEC is eating everybody cornbread. They mad that the SEC keeps taking.
BCS was set up primarily from them boys, but yeah, I think. Well, if you remember when it first started, remember it was the ACC that was really good. I mean, remember it was Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Right.
Virginia Tech,
Florida State,
Miami. Yeah.
And then the SEC just, I think, after that,
After Texas.
Miami was in the Big East. They were in the Big East. In Miami, it was all those teams that were doing. Then all of a sudden, I think somewhere after USC, after the whole USC thing.
After Texas beat USC, that's when the SEC era started, and it's been snowballing since.
Ever since.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna say I'm getting tired of it, but it's getting. It wouldn't hurt to see somebody else winning. I wouldn't. It wouldn't hurt. A little spontaneity.
I mean, for real, man.
I mean, like I said, it's just interesting to see that because, like I said, you would think that Alabama, or and I think for the most part, we were all campaigning for them. We were all praying, like, come on, Oregon, don't lose to Stanford, no.
Save for Kansas State. Because that Baylor game was amazing.
Playoff series to see stuff like that. To me, I wish I had started this season if they but I will.
You're right.
I think once they do it, a couple of years, the popularity will grow. Next thing you know, the first thing they'll all say is, we should have did this a long time ago. We know, we were telling you.
Right.
You know what? I would like to see also every conference get at least represented. I mean, there's like 12 conferences, 11 conferences in the NCAA football.
And then they have the BCS conferences, but as far as
overall. Maybe get to see a team like the Sun Belt, ULM get a chance to make it. I don't know. Hey, we're in here. We're gonna get annihilated, but we're in here.
I think people are getting upset with the SEC from the standpoint is, well, our top 3 teams are better than any team in your conference, so our top 3 teams need to get in there. So screw you. Our top 3 teams are gonna go, and it's like, well, why is it that? I think last year Alabama lost to LSU, and they played for the national championship. And it was like, well, wait a minute. Didn't that team beat you earlier in here?
Yeah. That was a gripe I had.
You know what? LSU goes and lay down.
Right.
LSU goes and lay down of all teams.
It was just like that year. Now you correct me if I'm wrong. It was the year Michigan lost to Ohio State, and Ohio State with the title game. And a lot of people were like, Michigan.
Team the game of the century in '06,
Yeah,
06.
yeah. Everybody was like, well, Michigan should get the rematch. People were like, well, we don't want to see the same team that just played each other.
You know what? That ticked me off. Yeah. Then did it last year. I said no. That's bull crap. They didn't do that for Michigan and Ohio State.
Right. Because I remember Michael Hart was like, we deserve to play again. We deserve to play again. And they didn't play again. Where is Michael Hart? I don't know where he's at now.
I see why. 'Cause remember, Florida blew the doors on Ohio State. That's what started this little run you guys. Had that Michigan all over again. Florida never gets a shot. We don't know if an SEC team. We don't know if the SEC gets to run to do their run that they're in now. So that's probably.
Yeah,
I guess I see why they campaigned for that. But
right.
But I remember that was the game of the century, and they were the quote game of the century in 2006. But that was Michigan and Ohio State.
Right, and then come back last year and we get the rematch, and then like you said, LSU lays a goose egg.
Oh yeah.
I said, man, this cannot be like, man, because I mean the regular season game, I ain't gonna lie, that was a great game. I mean, that really was a good game. I think for the most, I mean, it was ugly. It was okay. Defensive games are never great. Well, defensive games are always great games because they're just great, but they're ugly.
Yeah, because the score is close. Yeah.
It was a good game. 'Cause I sat here and watched it for damn near 4 hours, but
But
it was good. But then to follow behind that, it's like, come on, man.
I mean, really, 20. I mean, the game wouldn't. I'd rather the game with field goals rather than that 21-0 snooze fest where LSU couldn't get past the 50-yard line. And I still remember. I think of the basketball game when the basketball players got past half court. Alabama was cheering.
Hey, what do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers' brother about the Joe Flacco contract situation? Aaron Rodgers' brother.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
Well, I had. This is my first time hearing about it.
No, his brother went on Twitter and said, "Well, the good deal from Aaron Rodgers. I can't wait to see what the Ryan Fitzpatrick deal is going to be."
Wow. Well, Joe he's much better than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh yes.
You know, this is my thing about Flacco. Flacco, you get what you pay for. This man got you a ring.
Mm-hmm.
He played lights out playoffs through no interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Now, would I give him $52 million guaranteed? No. But hey, they felt like he earned it. Pay the man.
Well, I think they did this, and I know you guys might have seen me on Twitter refer to it as money time. I guess they're paying them based on money time. I think they're paying them on, because I mean, obviously, if you're paying them on regular season, it's like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
I think what you won 12 games one time.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. But then if you look at his postseason record, it was like, and I think, you know what, Joe Flacco did something that probably all free agent quarterbacks will probably start doing from here on out. If you want your money, go to money time and win. Go win in money time.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Go win in money time and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, we talk about the regular season stats and all that, but at the same time, it's a double standard. It's hypocritical because Peyton Manning is arguably one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time. Yet people say he only has one ring. But then you have a guy like Joe Flacco who doesn't play good during the regular season, kind of has an amazing playoffs, wins a ring. Then it's like, well, you suck during the regular season. So it's like, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
You can't get both. Do you want the championships? Do you want the rings? Like Eli has 2 rings. Eli is not the greatest regular season quarterback, but comes playoffs, magic happens, and he wins championships. So do you want the rings? Or do you want the regular season glory?
Right.
Make up your mind. Do you want Romo or do you want Eli? What do you want?
I mean, we already know where my answer is going to be in that one.
I always said that. Well, I always said about the Peyton Manning thing that if you look at Peyton Manning and you look at Brett Favre's career, they mirrored each other. Remember, Brett Favre early in his career was the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. Oh, he get you 13 wins, and then when he got to the playoffs, well, especially when he played your Cowboys, boy, it it was something different. If he played any other team, he could beat you. But when he got to them Cowboys, boy, it was
Don't worry about
I think at the end of the day, we all look at Brett Favre's career and say, well, he only had one ring, and I think that's what we're looking at with Peyton Manning. Well, he only had one ring. Yeah, he's the greatest regular season. He'll get you to the playoffs. I think he'll get you there. Then it's like, well, once you get there, it's like, yeah, we expect something out of you. Something, somehow, somewhere, something's gonna go wrong. And I think when that game went to overtime in Baltimore, against Baltimore, I think a lot of people have to sit back and go, I don't like this is gonna end.
Right, yeah.
Especially like your Peyton Manning loyalty. She said, I don't like how this is gonna end.
Yeah. So,
sure enough, it did.
Yeah, so that's my thing, man.
Exactly.
What do you want? You want the postseason success, or you want to judge a guy by the regular season?
Always say money to Robert. Always say, look, show me what you can do in money time.
Right.
Damn. You get in that 9 and says, show me what you can do in money time. Eli, show me what you can do in money time. He's done that. Remember Tom Brady? Remember Brady won his first 10 playoff games.
Right.
Yeah, he won his first. Now he was good in the regular during that time. Yeah, he had the 214 and 2 seasons. No, but remember Brady won his first 10 playoff games. I think Ben won his first 9, if I'm correct.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Show me what you can do in money time.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Matt Ryan is probably gonna not get
a good contract.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's probably gonna be making
You Matt Ryan, you might really want to look into this, especially if you want a new deal. You might want to just win in crunch time. No, yeah, because right now Matt Ryan is becoming that new Peyton Manning, where he's winning the playoff games, but can't win the big games.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a good analogy. Like Matt Ryan really is becoming like that new guy to where he has the monkey on his back, and when is he going to get to the big game? I mean, they got the talent.
Yeah, more than ever now, Robert, because remember the guy who got drafted behind him, he's doing quite well right now.
Oh, yeah.
The quarterback who drafted, well, he wasn't drafted after him, but as far as quarterbacks were drafted after him.
Right.
The second quarterback that drafted him.
Right.
He's kicking my butt.
Yeah, exactly.
Contract.
Oh yeah, he got more postseason wins. He's got the Super Bowl trophy, the Super Bowl MVP, and he got paid.
Yeah.
So it's like.
I think a lot of people thought Mark Sanchez was going to go follow that route. Well, I guess obviously if you get Mark Sanchez in the postseason, he might do a hell of a lot better than he's doing in the regular season.
I guess yeah. Even Sanchez got paid for his little postseason.
Oh yeah,
success.
yeah.
So but we knew Sanchez.
They brought Debo in and screwed up his life.
Yeah. You don't move your side boo in the same house with your wife. So that's kind of what happened.
He got frustrated, and next thing you know, he can't play as well as he can.
Yeah. So
That's just crazy. Yeah, but this obviously Like I said, show me in money time what you can do. I ain't worried about it. Show me what you can do in money time.
Exactly.
That's my issue with my team going into next year. And Ponder, show me what you can do in money time. Now your arm messed up this year. And,
that's another thing I have to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really think Joe Webb was going to do that bad?
No. Honestly, I think that whole week they went through the practice thinking that you go through the practice and you say, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, fine, sit out until Saturday. Don't worry about it. You take the first snaps or whatever, and we know you'll be ready by game time. And then Saturday morning we wake up and, hey coach, I still can't move my arm. That's not good. Okay, the doctors look at it. Okay, that's not good. Okay, well, game time, let's go out there and throw the ball. Okay, Les, he's not going to play tonight because he can't throw the ball past 15 yards. And when he did, he's throwing them like wiffle balls. And you got Charles Woodson coming back on the other side. He will take three back to the house. He'll take three back to the house.
Right.
So I think Les wanted to start with Christian Ponder, and then if he didn't do well, bench him for Joe Webb. I didn't think he wanted to start. I didn't think he was expected to start. I think that killed the whole thing. The whole timing killed everything. I think they went into that game wanting Christian Ponder to at least start and be somewhat effective. And then if they have to go with Webb, they would have. But they didn't expect Christian Ponder not to play the whole game. They didn't expect him. You're not playing because he went out there with the warm up, and his throws were just like he doesn't have a strong arm, man.
Right.
And just big. And know, you got Charles Woodson. And
Yeah.
all those
Yeah, 'cause
You gotta try something.
Pond he's got that Chad Pennington game. You know, he'll check down. You know, he'll throw it down. You know, and yeah.
Mhm.
But I just can't believe Joe Webb went out there and did it. Because Joe Webb's a guy. He's been in the league. This is not his first go around. You know, he's been in the league for a little while. You know, and you see them in practice. You know what Joe Webb can do. So it's
Mhm.
like, why not get a better backup?
Well, you know what? This is the big thing about this. They didn't expect to win. You could honestly tell, they didn't expect to win 10 games this year. They didn't. I think that
Mhm.
They undermined themselves. They won 10 games, and they, you know me, and actually, if you know me, I was going around saying they're not as bad as you guys think they were.
Yeah,
And they're
right.
Like, man, they're a 6-win team. They're a 4-win team. They might be. I'm like, look, they ain't as bad as y'all think they are.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, do I think they won? Now, I didn't say 10 wins. I said 8. They won 10. So I said, okay, they got me there.
There you
Houston
go.
game and even when the game against Green Bay, those two games right there, they got me. This is as far as the thing with Joe Webb, I didn't think that. No, they didn't think that they was going to be. This was more of a rebuilding year. Now going into this season, it's like, okay, you need to go find you a back. You want to win? You really want to win? You better go find your back. You better go find your back quarterback. You want to win this year? So that's the thing with that. It's just right now, quarterback probably isn't one of the most biggest things we have to worry about right now. I think we have another issue. Oh, right.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing about this Minnesota team. If barring injury, you know, if they can keep Percy, Percy comes back healthy, get a receiver. You know what? I would love to see Minnesota go after Greg Jennings. Greg Jennings is a free agent. He's an unrestricted free agent, right?
Yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent, but the Green Bay is really hinting on slapping the franchise tag.
Yeah.
I think that's a hater move.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That would be.
Yeah.
I think right now it's him, Dwayne Bowe, and Wallace that are the top 3 agents,
Right.
wide receivers. I think Dwayne Bowe might be staying in San Francisco. Might be staying in Kansas
Yeah,
City.
because they need him with Alex Smith.
Because I heard Andy Reid said he wanted him there, and I think now with Alex Smith,
They need him.
They might have they
Oh,
to the state now. That
good.
might be, yeah.
Good news for you, Clarence.
Him over Brady. Yeah, so I'll stay. Anybody but those two.
Good news for you, Clarence. They said they were not going to give him the franchise tag.
Well, they wasn't. Well, they were hinting on it. I think I read
know.
a report about a couple days ago. They were hinting about doing it.
Yeah.
About giving Greg Jennings that franchise because Greg Jennings Greg Jennings said this few days that he likes playing in warm weather and he likes playing in the dome. And I think right now we can sell him on the dome thing, but only problem is this will be our last season in the Metrodome because they're going to tear it down after this year. So for the new stadium that's coming up, so he'll play in the dome for one season, and next year we'll be outdoors for the next couple of years until our stadium is built. So if he want to do that, yes. He said he want to play in the warm weather and he wants to play in the dome. So he was hinting basically play in Minnesota or go to Miami. Now, Miami, obviously, of course, we all love to go there for the nightlife.
But if you want to get a ring, if you try to get some playoff time, you know, you go to Minnesota.
And he knows more than anything what we have on that other side. He knows on the other side, yeah, they got him and Adrian Peterson. Actually, they developed a nice little friendship over the season or whatever. You know, they talk here and there. So it's like, you know, I go to Minnesota, and if I go over there, of course, you know, the last ex-Packer who came to Minnesota,
he did kind of well. You know, he did pretty well.
It worked.
I don't think Ted Thompson wants to see anything like that. So I think if they know Jennings will go to Minnesota, I think they might pull the hater.
Oh yeah.
Look, this for this year. You ain't going over there.
Right.
You ain't going over there. We can't see you twice every year to come back.
Oh no way. Man.
I like to see them. They're definitely gonna draft a receiver in the first round. I think we have the 22nd pick, so they're gonna draft a receiver in the first round. And of course, the last 2 times we had that 22nd pick, we drafted 2 receivers, Percy Harvin and Randy Moss.
Right.
That worked out well. So you know.
Right.
Well, there with that.
So we're gonna see. I mean, this is a Minnesota team. That division that division
Yes.
is scary because you got Green Bay with Aaron
Mhm.
Rodgers. You know they're the top dog. Then you got Chicago with Cutler, but they're kind of I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're rebuilding, but they're gonna have a new identity soon.
Right.
You got Detroit. They have the pieces, so we'll see. And then you got you guys there who made that playoff berth, and you know you have the pieces there too. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a dogfight, you know.
Well, I said right before the kickoff on my blog, I wrote that in 2013 there would be a fatal four-way in that division. I said there's gonna be a fatal four-way match in that division. It's gonna be about. And this year, well, the interesting thing is this year, for one of these weeks, me and you and Mark got to spew back insults to each other because we come to Jerry Road this year. So,
Oh, y'all come to us, huh? All right.
Oh yeah, we got the friend of the show. Gets the host. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to put a wager on that. We're gonna have to get y'all some action going on that.
Hey, guess what? Too. Guess what? Guess what? My Cowboys play against his Broncos too.
Is that in Mile High? Is that, I mean, is that
I think
is that in Invesco?
it's in Dallas.
I was in Dallas. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's in Dallas.
Well, yeah.
I want to try to get y'all for Thanksgiving.
Oh man, we get y'all for Thanksgiving. Last time we played y'all for Thanksgiving, it wasn't that promising for y'all.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we play your division, and then we play the AFC North. So actually, we get a tougher slate this year, more than ever, a tougher schedule this year than anything, I think. So that in itself could be a challenge for everybody in our division. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah, I finally get to go to Jerry Road. So.
But man, once again, man, thanks for coming through, Clarence, man. It's always good to hear from you, man. Minnesota's #1 sports reference to us. So, man, we appreciate it, man.
Exactly. And once again, if you can follow him on Twitter, MidwestBoy84, he will give you whatever you need in Minnesota news. Trust me.
And a little bit of everything else.
Exactly. So once again, thank you very much for coming on to the show, man.
No problem. All right, gentlemen. I'll see you guys around.
All right,
All right,
man.
take care, man.
Welcome anytime.
All right. Well, Clarence came through in the clutch right there. We were kind of scared that we weren't going to have a guest.
Yeah, we definitely looking for a guest. And we luckily got one of our trusted listeners and followers, and man, it worked out perfectly.
Once again, yes.
But definitely gonna be back to with a show sometime later this week, Wednesday. Then the following week, definitely gonna have a show probably Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely gonna give you guys more of what you guys want. More guests. More laughs, more fun, more stats. Things of that nature. Because sports world is always something to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. So let's say, because I'm off Wednesday. You said Wednesday?
Shoot, Wednesday at 1.
Okay, let's try that. We're gonna be at the same place of going like calls and stuff.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then I think you said Tuesday next week too.
Yeah.
I think I'm good then because I'm off too. I'm off that day too. So we'll see. We might do it. We might do it during the day. We might do it during the night. Who knows? But once again, this is the Gafford and Brown Show. I'm Lamar Gafford.
And I'm Robert Brown.
And until then, peace.